Yamunatiravanachariyam Yamunatiravanachariyam Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatiravanachariyam Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari Jai Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatiravanachariyam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. प्रेम धरी जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजक आचार्य स्तोत्रश श्री श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन संस्थापक आचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजक आचार्य स्तोत्रश श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद ठाकुर की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री 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 राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन धाम की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। मथुरा धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। द्वारिका धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. Jai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Shri Shri Radha Vairishwar Bhagwan ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. Hare Krishna. Please repeat after me. Aho anatmayam madasya pashat अहो अनात्म्यं महदस्य पश्यात् प्रजापतिर्यश्चराचरं प्रजा प्रजापतिर्यस्य चराचरं प्रजा जहावसून्यद्विमतात्मजा सती जहावसून्यद्विमतात्मजा सती मनस्विनी मानं भीक्षणमहर्ति अहो अनात्म्यं महदस्य पश्यात् प्रजापतिर्यस्य चराचरं प्रजा जहावसून्यद्विमतात्मजा सती मनस्विनी मानमभीक्षणमर्हति अहो अनात्म्यं महदस्य पश्यात् प्रजापतिर्यस्य चराचरं प्रजा जहावसून्यद्विमतात्मजा सती मनस्विनी मानमभीक्षणमर्हति अहो अनात्म्यं महदस्य पश्यात् चराचरं प्रजा जहावसून्यद्विमतात्मजा सती मनस्विनी मानमभीक्षणमर्हति अहो अनात्म्यं महदस्य पश्यात् प्रजापतिर्यस्य चराचरं प्रजा जहावसून्यद्विमतात्मजा सती मनस्विनी मानमभीक्षणमर्हति अहो अनात्म्यं महदस्य पश्यात् प्रजापतिर्यत्सता जहावसून्यद्विमतात्मजा सती मनस्विनी मानमभीक्षणमर्हति माता जी अहो अनात्म्यं महदस्य पश्यात् प्रजापतिर्यस्य चराचरं प्रजा मनस्विनी मानमभीक्षणमर्हति अहो अनात्म्यं महदस्य पश्यात् प्रजापतिर्यच्चरं प्रजा जहावसून्यद्विमतात्मजा सती मनस्विनी मानमभीक्षणमर्हति. Translation: It was astonishing that Daksha, who was Prajapati, the maintainer of all living entities, was so disrespectful to his own daughter Sati, who was not only chaste but was also a great soul, that she gave up her body because of his neglect. Please repeat after me. It was astonishing that Daksha, who was Prajapati, the maintainer of all living entities, was so disrespectful to his own daughter, Sati, who was not only chaste, but was also a great soul, that she gave up her body because of his neglect. Purport, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The word anatmya is significant. Atmya means the life of the soul. So this word indicates that although Daksha appeared to be living, actually he was a dead body. Otherwise, how could he neglect Sati, who was his own daughter? It was the duty of Daksha to look after the maintenance and comforts of all living entities, because he was situated as Prajapati, the governor of all living entities. Therefore, how is it that he neglected his own daughter, who was the most exalted and chaste woman, a great soul, and who therefore deserved the most respectful treatment from her father? The death of Sati, because of her being neglected by Daksha, her father, was most astonishing to all the great demigods of the universe. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Agyan Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutpada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tan Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitanscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Ancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 4, from text 29 to text 34. So I need your blessings to cover all these shlokas, particularly Prabhupada's purports are very nice. So I will try to speak little on this shloka. I will try that I finish, I conclude every shloka in time so that I could cover all the shlokas, and later on see that what ultimately we derive from all these shlokas. So it's fantastic, very, as usual, Prabhupada purports are fantastic. Here also we can see the Prabhupada starts that the word anatmya is significant. Atmya means the life of the soul. So the opposite of it is the anatmya. The atmya is the life of the soul. We say atmavan. So Atmavan, the one who is the possessor of Atma. So basically, for all of us, our struggle is that whether we are body conscious or a Krishna conscious or a soul conscious. Here Atmaya, the Atma conscious. So here the Daksh Prajapati has been called as Anatmaya because he had given preference to the body, the expectation of respect. So Anatmaya. The one who gives importance to soul is Atmaya, and the Anatmaya is the one who neglects the soul, the body conscious. And in the purport it is said that like a dead body doesn't react. So that's why the Prabhupada says in the purport, he acted like a dead body. Why this? There are two ways to look at it. One is that, see, in this episode we see that how Daksh Prajapati ignored and neglected Sati Mata up to the extent that he didn't react to that Sati Mata left her body, so he didn't react to that. So it's like a dead body doesn't react. It's in the next shloka we will see that it's called that hard-hearted. He became so hard-hearted. That's the problem of being body conscious. We get so much attached to that particular thought, and this is what has happened. So this is what is known as losing soul, means losing spiritual awareness. That ultimately body consciousness, spiritual consciousness, that. So we lose that spiritual consciousness, and which ultimately led to the neglect and Sati's death. And in this shloka, these demigods are astonished. This is actually Maitreya Muni is telling Vidur Maharaj, and he's mentioned in the purport. The Prabhupada says the death of Sati because of her being neglected by Daksha, her father, was most astonishing to all the great demigods of the universe. That how can a father, and he was so much attached, just because he got so much attached to that particular expectation that he tolerated this, the death of his daughter. Not only tolerated, he totally neglected his daughter, who was so close to her. So this is what the material life can bring, and that is what the caution for the devotees. And ultimately this cause is the avidya, which is, proud of possession and misunderstanding himself as a body. The vidya is basically to understand our eternal position as a servant of the Lord. So in the third chapter, the Canto 4, third chapter, 17 shloka, it is said that although the six qualities, education, austerity, wealth, beauty, youth, and heritage are for the highly elevated, one who is proud of possessing them becomes blind. And thus he loses his good sense and cannot appreciate the glories of great personalities. This is then what it happens, that it brings envy, and envy makes us feel that what we are doing is justified. So the competition, then we find a reason, the mind tells us a reason, there's nothing wrong in it. That enviousness, any competition, anywhere we feel, we differentiate between the devotees. There are many ways to that this manifests, the envy. And then later on, like with the Daksh Prajapati, the mind will tell, no, it's okay, you have to preserve your, whatever, many reasons it will give. And we justify, and we become hard-hearted. Because we consider that what I am doing is right. I should have got that respect. I am the senior, whatever. I consider myself as, I was ex-temple president, so I must get that respect. And when that thing, because it's all bodily conceptions, that Sarvopadhi, these are all upadhis. And when we get so much attached to it, it can lead to such a problem. And because the mind will keep on justifying, and we become hard-hearted. And the problem is that makes us invalid for the bhakti. So, but as a devotees, this is a caution to us that we should always be able to differentiate between the body consciousness and Krishna conscious. Our sadhana is to become a Krishna conscious, and accordingly manage the situations. But our great, for a devotee, the great relief for the devotee is that because the Atmaya, the life of the soul, and for the devotee, a disciple, the life of the disciple is the Guru Mukha Padma Vakya, the instructions of Guru. You see, that is what saves us. That's where we keep on becoming Atmaya, that keeps on bringing it to the Krishna consciousness. And Guru has given us very simple instructions that chant our 16 rounds sincerely, follow 4 regulative principles, and we'll see how these all, ultimately we achieve where Daksha Prajapati failed. Because having that shelter protects us from all the problems which he got into, Daksha Prajapati. So, chanting our 16 rounds sincerely, 4 regulative principles, and helping Guru Maharaj in helping Srila Prabhupada in propagating the name of Krishna. So now, and one general instruction which Guru Maharaj keeps on repeating is the cooperate. We all should serve in cooperation. Actually, that cooperation, this instruction itself can purify us. It does purify us actually, because it makes us understand that our progress actually depends on others. It's not me. I am not the center. And because ultimately, as I said, that for us, the Guru, the word, that is the soul of our life. That is the whole purpose of our life. If Guru Maharaj is happy, we have achieved everything. So that is the only pleasure, and that makes us to keep on remembering his instruction of cooperation. And once you understand that for my progress depends on others, then you certainly will take care of everyone, because everyone has to progress. We all have to move on together. That will give us the tolerance. That is what will give us, that nature of accommodating each other will make us purify and be out of this body conscious and be Krishna conscious. In our ISKCON society, actually, that's how we learn that we are not the fault finders, we are the love finders. And that's how when we come to the temple, we all become so happy, because we only look for the love and we get so much of love from the devotees. So there's no question of faults. We know that, we all are sadhakas, we all have come up with our own history, and that keeps on bothering us, that keeps on bringing us down. We see those things, but we don't focus on those qualities of the devotees. We focus on the good qualities of devotees, and so that we cooperate and continue together. Many times, that we feel that Prabhupada, so for us, the Guru Maharaj, this is the general instruction. Actually, this general instruction in itself is so heavy that cooperate. But sometimes it comes to mind that I didn't get any specific instruction. And it is explained several times that actually, of course, with the Guru knows whom to give that specific instruction. Someone should have that ability. And of course, with Guru's instruction, the empowerment comes, and that's how the Guru gives those instructions. He knows that they have that ability to deliver. So but it's very different. Srila Prabhupada, once the Satkirti Prabhu writes in Shrutkirti Prabhu writes that once there was a devotee, he wrote to Prabhupada that he wants to divorce his wife and get married to some other women. And when that letter was being read, naturally the Shrutkirti Prabhu was the secretary serving Prabhupada at that time. He immediately felt that Prabhupada will say no. And this is not acceptable, this is not. However, Prabhupada replied, okay. And Prabhu writes that there were very less occasions where I questioned Prabhupada. And when Prabhupada said, okay, he was in a tremendous, pressure, and he was thinking so much. Then he decided that while massaging Prabhupada in the evening, I will question Prabhupada that what is it. So he was massaging for some time. Then he asked Prabhupada, today in this letter, the devotee who wrote a letter to you asking for divorce, and Prabhupada immediately stopped him and he said, yeah, I said okay. So he was, again, he said, but Prabhupada, this, and he writes over there, he says, Prabhupada was very indifferent in his response, and he said, I have never seen that attitude of Prabhupada, that just replied and just closed. Then Shrutketu Prabhu said, but Srila Prabhupada, you have mentioned always that what we understand that divorce, there is no option of divorce. There is no divorce in the Vedic culture. So that option is not at all there. Prabhupada said, what can I do? You are the Western culture, American culture, it is acceptable. Shrutkirti Prabhu said, but Prabhupada, that way, even, in our Western culture, the meat eating, intoxication, even that is accepted. Then Prabhupada looked at him. And then Prabhu writes that in a very grim voice and in a very compassionate voice, Srila Prabhupada replied that if I would have said no, he would still do it. And it would have been a very great mistake. So, to save him, Srila Prabhupada said, okay. How that Guru Tattva, you see, that how Guru is coming. And so we all are very fortunate that we get the instructions. What we can deliver, the Guru Maharaj empowers us, we focus on that, and then we can deliver ourselves. So here the sati was neglected, and sati took this extreme step. This neglect also we can see in a different way, that how even devotees went through different experience with Prabhupada. When Srila Prabhupada ignored them, they felt it was so disheartening, and they felt it, what can I do? There have been several occasions in our history of Gaudiya Parampara where devotees were ignored and how they felt, like as if to give up the body. So for His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj was a book distributor, very, very famous, very successful book distributor. After doing very successful book distribution in America, Maharaj came to Eastern Europe, and he was distributing books very successfully. That was, in those days, USSR, all communist countries. It was very difficult to do it over there. And that's why, and he had a habit of writing letters to Prabhupada. So he would write letters to Prabhupada every day. Of course, he will not post all of them, but he will write. And some of them, then reports were going to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was very pleased. And Prabhupada was already very frail at that time. His health was not good. And Srila Prabhupada then decided, this is Radhanath Swami Maharaj is telling this episode. He actually it's in writing also in the Black Lotus book. So Radhanath Swami Maharaj said that Srila Prabhupada then decided that I will go, I will travel, to express my gratitude to the devotees and thank devotees. So Prabhupada travels to London. Prabhupada comes to Bhaktivedanta Manor, and when these devotees, these were distributing books in Eastern Europe, they heard about it. They drove overnight from Eastern Europe to London in one shot. The three devotees who were the Sankirtan party there, all three of them reached, and they reached Bhaktivedanta Manor. So Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj saw His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. In those days he was still not a sannyasi. But Maharaj was there, and he was very happy, because he also would always think, the devotees, disciples would always see that how they can please the Guru. So they were always thinking of pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. So he knows that if I will take Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj to Prabhupada, Prabhupada will be very, very pleased. He will be very happy. He took Maharaj to Srila Prabhupada, and looking at that, Srila Prabhupada was moved. And Srila Prabhupada called Bhakti Swami Maharaj, embraced him, and he was, on his head he was, what do we say, the caressing, or that he was, on his head he was putting his hand. And then Srila Prabhupada said, your life is successful, and thank you so much. And Prabhupada says, this is the parampara. My Guru Maharaj pushed me, and I pushed you for serving Krishna, and you're doing it very well. And so everyone was talking about this, that this was very different, Srila Prabhupada, the way Prabhupada, embraced him, took care and thanked him for this. Then, after that, within 2 days, Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj felt that, okay, let me call Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. He said, you come and you read your report of book distribution to Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada will be very happy hearing that directly from you. So Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj arranged it. His Holiness tells that actually that Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj has told Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and he's writing, he is telling that so he started giving the report, and Prabhupada was not at all interested. As soon as he entered, he ignored him, and he was not interested. In fact, when he started reading his report, Prabhupada calls another devotee and started talking to him. And Maharaj is saying that I was feeling very, I didn't know what, I don't know whether Prabhupada wants it, does not want it. Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj asked him to do this service and all that, and he says he understood that it is not something he is doing, because when he went with that pride that I will give a report, and he has that in him, and Prabhupada totally ignored him, and then Prabhupada stopped him. And Maharaj says that I was totally confused and totally down. And when he was coming down, then Prabhupada looked at him, he said, Krishna is the doer. Krishna is the doer. So, that is how Prabhupada, and then this, His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj says that was the last instruction he got, and he said it was so close. He said, I value that day, this experience, this instruction much more than the experience which I had 2 days back. But the point here is that see how the Guru uses the neglect. Here the father neglected, which resulted into such a bad result. Whereas here, this is how the Guru, the Guru purifies the devotee. So being neglected by Daksha, our father. So now the Shloka 4.4.30, the translation is, Daksha, who is so hard-hearted that he is unworthy to be Brahmana, will gain extensive ill fame because of his offenses to his daughter, because of not having prevented her death, and because of his great envy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So here in the Shloka, Durmashram Hridayo means hard-hearted, and Brahmadruk, this is very special, I found it. And then Prabhupada explains, that's why Prabhupada explains us in the purport, that Daksha is described here as most hard-hearted and therefore unqualified to be a Brahmana. Brahmadruk is described by some commentators to mean Brahma Bandhu, or friend of the Brahmanas. A person who is born in Brahmana family but has no Brahmanical qualifications is called a Brahma Bandhu. Brahmanas are generally very soft-hearted and forbearing because they have the power to control the senses and the mind. So this is basically instruction to us, those particularly Brahmanical initiated devotees, that what is required is they need to be, Brahmana are generally very soft-hearted and forbearing because they have the power to control the senses and the mind. Daksha, however, was not forbearing for the simple reason that his son-in-law, Lord Shiva, did not stand up to show him the formality of respect. He became so angry and hard-hearted that he tolerated even the death of his dearest daughter. Sati tried her best to mitigate the misunderstanding between the son-in-law and the father-in-law by coming to her father's house. Even without an invitation at that time, Daksha should have received her, forgetting all past misunderstandings. But he was so hard-hearted that he was unworthy to be called an Aryan or a Brahmana. Thus, his ill fame still continues. Daksha means expert, and he was given this name because of his ability to beget many hundreds and thousands of children. Persons who are too sexually inclined and materialistic become so hard-hearted because of a slight loss of prestige, they can tolerate even the death of their children. Hare Krishna. Very heavy purport from Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So, we know the core traits of true Brahmana: soft-heartedness, forbearance, control over senses and mind. So the Gayatri, the singing, which three, so as we say in mantra, which delivers us from this material existence. So it takes out from body consciousness to the soul consciousness, Krishna consciousness. We all know that ultimately that stage is that what is expected of Brahmanas behavior is Brahma Bhuta, Prasannatma, na shochati, na kangshati. So when there is no expectation, no kangshati, here also all this, result of expectation of a respect. So there is no expectation. Delivers one, so Daksha's, whereas the Daksha's contrasting behavior, he was body conscious, expert especially on procreation, lacked compassion and self-control. He became enraged with Lord Shiva, didn't show formal respect. His pride led him to tolerate the death of his daughter Sati. So Prabhupada, we noticed that in the purport, that became so hard-hearted that even tolerated the death of his daughter. He refused reconciliation even when Sati visited him uninvited. That's where it said that his actions were deemed unworthy of an Aryan and a Brahmana. A Brahmana should have that, always be able to differentiate between the body level of understanding and the Atmic level of understanding. What is the higher level of understanding? So this excessive pride and materialism can erode human compassion. Even great ability like Daksha is meaningless without empathy. Empathy is very important in the life of devotees. And we already, touched on few of that when we follow this instruction of cooperation, that means we have to have that empathy. Then only we are able to glorify the services of the devotees, and that is how we become closer to each other. So ability to see good in others, that is what the devotees are. 31 shloka. Translation: while people were talking among themselves about the wonderful voluntary death of Sati, the attendants who had come with her readied themselves to kill Daksha with their weapons. Purport: Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The attendants who came with Sati were meant to protect her from calamities, but since they were unable to protect their master's wife, they decided to die for her, and before dying they wanted to kill Daksha. It is a duty of attendants to give protection to their master, and in case of failure, it is their duty to die. Hare Krishna. Actually, Bharat Gopal Prabhuji in his class already touched the different level, how the Brahmana reacts to this, and Kshatriya and Vaishya Shudra. So I will not get into that. So Lord Shiva is seen as the protector of Dharma, and blaspheming him is considered as a great offense. Scriptural instruction is one must not tolerate blasphemy of exalted figures under any circumstances. Ideal response to blasphemy: Sati believed Daksha's tongue should have been cut out for insulting Lord Shiva. Extreme dharmic response: one who hears such blasphemy should kill the offender and then give up their own life, which is for the Kshatriya, the administrator. We see that actually. See, it is easy for us to ignore, tolerate, as it is said that when you are hearing something like this, we must leave that place. The Brahmana should leave that place where some devotee is being criticized. We can leave. However, it is difficult for the temple president and the administration, the vice presidents, because it is they have to correct. They at that level they are acting as a Kshatriya, so they have to correct the devotees. So it's very difficult. Actually, it puts temple president in very difficult situation. Majority of the time, if the temple president time goes in hearing to the devotees, devotees get affected, they complain for the other, and the temple president has to hear everyone and then still to correct them and also to ensure they still continue doing their seva. Of course, the Guru Maharaj empowers temple president, but I am saying, I am just telling that we should always understand that difficulty of the temple president and help temple president in such services, that if we can also give him some relief by improving the consciousness of our congregation, every one of us. Sati's dilemma: because Daksha was her father, she chose not to harm him, but instead gave up her own life to atone for hearing the blasphemy. So it was father, she felt it, that what is the point of having this body which is got from my father, who is, his behavior is not good, and she gave up her body. So Sati's self-identification, so in this here itself it has been, in the one of the purport Prabhupada writes, she considered herself among the Vaishyas and Shudras. So basically that consciousness, the getting, it's considering herself to be a body, and that's why she took an extreme step. This is in the Prabhupada purport. Her final act, she gave up her life to uphold dharma and protest the insult of Lord Shiva. Sati's attendant stand, since they were unable to protect their master's wife, they decided to kill Daksha and then die for her. And then this shloka 32 comes in. Translation: they came forward forcibly, but Bhrigu Muni saw the danger, and offering oblations into the southern side of the sacrificial fire, immediately uttered mantric hymns from the Yajurveda, by which the destroyers of yajnic performances could be killed immediately. Purport: Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Here is one example of powerful hymns in the Vedas, which when chanted could perform wonderful acts. In the present age of Kali, it is not possible to find expert mantra chanters. Therefore, all the sacrifices recommended in the Vedas are forbidden in this age. The only sacrifice recommended in this age is the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Because in this age, it is not possible to accumulate the needed funds for performing sacrifices, not to speak of finding expert brahmanas who can chant the mantras perfectly. 4.4.33. When Bhrigu Muni offered oblations in the fire, immediately many thousands of demigods named Ribhus became manifested. All of them were powerful, having achieved strength from Soma, the moon. Purport: Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is stated here that many thousands of demigods named Ribhus became manifested because of the oblations offered in the fire and the chanting of the hymns from the Yajurveda. Brahmanas like Bhrigu Muni were so powerful that they could create such powerful demigods simply by chanting the Vedic mantras. Vedic mantras are still available, but the chanters are not. By chanting Vedic mantras or chanting the Gayatri or Rig mantra, one can attain the results one desires. In the present age of Kali, it is recommended by Lord Chaitanya that simply by chanting Hare Krishna, one can attain all perfection. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Last shloka. Translation: when the Ribhu demigods attacked the ghost and Gokyas with half-burned fuel from the Yajna fire, all these attendants of Sati fled in different directions and disappeared. This was possible simply because of Brahma Tejas, Brahmanical power. The word Brahma Tejas used in this verse is significant. In those days, Brahmanas were so powerful that simply by desiring and by chanting a Vedic mantra, they could accomplish very wonderful effects. But in the present age of degradation, there are no such Brahmanas. According to Pancharatrika system, in this age, the entire population is supposed to consist of Shudras because the Brahmanical culture has been lost. But If anyone displays the signs of understanding Krishna consciousness, he should be accepted according to Vaishnava Smriti regulations as a prospective Brahmana and should be given all facilities to achieve the highest perfection. The most magnanimous gift of Lord Chaitanya is that the highest perfection of life is available in this fallen age if one simply adopts the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which is able to bring about the fulfillment of all activities in self-realization. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So what we observe that in this, particularly in these last 3 shlokas, where we see this episode of that attendants of Sati Mata, they wanted to kill Daksh Prajapati and destroy the yajna. The Bhrigu Muni, then saying that such a exalted Bhrigu Muni, he created from that fire. They had that power. They could stop them and ultimately make them vanish and protected the yajna. And so we see this, how much power these Vedic mantras have, how much power those munis had. So few days back in our preacher group there was a posting, I don't remember whether, but it was very fantastic, where it was said that Srila Prabhupada purports there is no space for speculation and misunderstandings. The conclusions are stated in direct and clear way for us. And this is exactly the same thing. Just a few days back it is there. They're very good. It's a very long article. And it's very, very nicely explained. And we see in all these 3, you see, if I would have read it, I would have got naturally attracted. And there have been, in my life, there have been many such occasions that where I got very attracted by those powers. We have seen, when I was in school, that time this book of Edmund Hillary came in, from ocean to sky. So he has written his experience of rowing from Gaumukh to Ganga Sagar in a boat. So he wanted to show that. So it's written there in a nutshell. He was, he wanted to show that how much, we can travel all the way from there, and the man can do this and that and all that. And closer to Devrayag, there was one Hat Yogi, and he, because of his yoga, he stopped them. They tried their level best. Their boat was not at all moving. They couldn't move from there. And when I read in those college days, it was very interesting. And those what I, because I lived in Haridwar, Rishikesh. So many of those, in His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj book, that many of those sannyasi or the saints who have been mentioned, I have seen or some similar, that they had so much of power. Every kumbh, even now, the kumbh is when all the, these sannyasis, etc., they come in, same also Haridwar also, there is a place where the kumbh will be there. And that is the time we will see so many of these sannyasis and mahatmas will come over there with so much of power. And a lot of that is being now shown, somebody standing on one leg, so much of that power. And Rana Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Rana Swami Maharaj also mentioned that. So we were always attracted towards that. I also had that attraction. And some of it I also have seen that those Naga Babas, that they, when they are sitting and they are, they are little above the ground. We have one temple, Neelkant temple in Rishikesh, on the other side of Ganga. In earlier days, the Grahasthas would not stay on the other side of the Ganga. Everyone was on this side. They are only, or just across the board, this 1 or 2 ashrams were there. After that, you won't find. And that is where many of these Naga Babas, etc., will live. There was a mountain. And, college days, and we have that during that time we go visit this Nilkanta Shiva temple, and Shiva temple will always be on the mountain, top of the mountain. And it rained heavily, and then we were looking for a place. We went into the cave and we only saw the eyes, because when you come from outside and you saw the eyes, and that is when I realized that some of them were in the air and this, and they all were also smoking that, only within few seconds I felt myself dizzy and I came out. They were smoke. But that is how they are. Their lifestyle is very different. And you see they do many such things. You come across those things. So we had that attraction. But you see that how Prabhupada is guiding us, helping us, that we don't get into any speculation and misunderstanding. If you see all these three purports, Prabhupada keeps on bringing us back to this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In this age of Kali, nothing better than this. And it is complete. There is a risk, and Prabhupada clearly mentions that we don't have those chanters, we don't have that purity. Yeah? Whereas here, we can see that by chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we all have experienced how the devotees, the Prabhupada's disciples, have made their life successful. See, for us, the success of life is ultimately if we get that mercy at the time of leaving body. And that we see this. Now, recently Bharat Gopal Prabhu, myself, Venkatesh Prabhu, and few other devotees, we visited Ras Bihari Girdhari Prabhu. Thank you so much. We visited Ras Bihari Girdhari Prabhu. His father, of course in Bangladesh, his father at the age of 102, he left body. And Prabhu was, so we understand, so 102 years, he was chanting, he was a very good kirtaniya, and he was chanting more than 32 rounds every day. He will get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And naturally he was talking to Prabhu, and he said, okay, you are not coming, and so it's fine, whatever, it is okay. And one of the grandson was there with him. When he left the body, he opened his eyes and he was telling, I can see very beautiful, very beautiful people are there. And he said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And he left the body. So, very simple people, very simple life in his village. All his life he just was, but faith in Guru's instruction, and he was chanting with sincerity. And if we see all these 6 shlokas also, that ultimately what Prabhupada, and if you see Bhagavatam also, the first, it tells about anatmaya, that we have to understand that atmaya means for one who is Krishna conscious. Understand there is a purpose, the spiritual purpose in life. If he doesn't follow that, then he is not even a Brahmana, he falls down. For us, Prabhupada has explained it, we all have to endeavor to maintain ourselves in Satoguna, because that is only in that Satoguna we are, in the Brahmana, we are able to differentiate and we know what is good and bad. And so then after that, but here, because of envy, he fall down. And result of that, such a mishappening was there, and he has to go through such a difficulty of tolerating the death of his daughter, although because of that neglect, and he was hard-hearted, he became so hard-hearted. So all that episode, and then Prabhupada explaining us the glories of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra we can achieve all this. And Prabhupada mentions in this last purport that prospective Brahmana, we all in this age of Kali are Shudras. However, by following Krishna consciousness, we all become entitled for a prospective Brahmana. and that is what Prabhupada says, that should be promoted. Prospect Brahmana should be given all facilities to achieve the highest perfection. So, and ultimately, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that, and we have to check that even in our that recently we heard from Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, his course on japa. So there also there was a session before that we did the 64 round chanting. There was a session where Maharaj, that forgiveness and the gratitude, we must express the gratitude and we must ask for the forgiveness, even if we think that some devotee, whomsoever, we must do that. So ultimately, we nirmatharanam satam, that we all have to become, once your heart is clean, you come out of any grudge against any devotee, that is when you can chant Trinadapi Sunija. So many instructions, if you see, we see that by following these principles, that what a pleasure we get, and we can make our life successful by, and that is where we, this devotee, this our congregation moving with the devotees, doing all these programs, etc., help us to get rid of little bit of the difficulties we get among devotees, and we all can cooperate and work together for the pleasure of Guru Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Did I miss any? So status does not justify the cruelty. Envy of divine personality leads to downfall. These are the lessons we see this from this. The true spiritual power lies not in ritual, but the Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is recommended. And Srila Prabhupada purport, no space for speculation and misunderstandings. The conclusions are stated in direct and clear way, and which is that the most magnanimous gift of God, Lord Chaitanya, is that the highest perfection of life is available in this fallen age if one simply adopts the process of chanting Hare Krishna, which is able to bring about the fulfillment of all activities in self-realization. So I beg for to all the devotees present here, give me a blessing that, my faith in Hare Krishna Mahamantra becomes as solid as expected by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Any devotee wants to comment, please comment. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anatmaya is significant. Yeah. Atmaya means the life of the soul. That is that what I mentioned, that Atmavan. No. Acha, next purport? Is it? Okay. The word anatmaya is significant. Atmaya means the life of the soul. So this word indicates that although Daksha appeared to be living, actually he was a dead body. Otherwise, how could he neglect Sati, who was his own daughter? It was the duty of Daksha to look after the maintenance and comforts of all living entities, because he was situated as Prajapati.
The next slide, Prabhuji.
Next slide.
Next slide.
That is mine, Prabhu.
Atmaya, the possessor of one soul of Atmavan, and Atmaya. So this difference just wanted to know. Atmaya.
Atmaya. No, Prabhu. So that is my understanding after hearing and reading some of the things. So what I meant is the same thing. That if you see the one who, the life of the soul, as I mentioned, like for us, our life for our soul is the instruction of Guru. And if we give importance to him, then we are also Atmavan. the possessor of Atma.
Hari Bol, Hare
That
Krishna.
is what was my understanding.
Hare Bol,
If
thank
you
you.
can do that, or you want Atma or Atmaya, so this much I don't know. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
One
Hare
question.
Krishna. Hare
So
Krishna.
in the last purport, you were described about the Brahma Tejas. So as
Yes.
Prabhupada mentioned, in those times the Brahmanas were very powerful. So the Kshatriyas, they were obedient to Brahmanas. But in the current situation, this is quite opposite. Because the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, they don't listen to Brahmana. Brahmanas are not given proper recognition. And so now the Kshatriyas are in control of the situation. So because they act in all kinds, they don't follow any rules and regulations. So in this situation, how is this currently devotees who can bring the transformation? How can, because we don't have that Brahma Tejas and we don't have the power to control the Kshatriyas. So how this situation can be rectified?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I will try to answer it from my understanding, then I will ask other people. So, Prabhu, what I know is that if you see in our temple, the way now by our seniors, the way our setup is to, so that we follow this, the temple president, although he is at a Brahman level, but he has taken this responsibility, has come to the Kshatriya duty. And what he does is, that is why, you know, irrespective of whatever say, it's not all necessary for Prabhuji to share with me or to share with Varad Gopal Prabhuji, for any of us. But whatever he does share with us, listen to us, hear from us what is our view. And we, of course, as far as we are concerned, we always see that ultimately he is the temple president empowered by Guru Maharaj, and actually even although, you know, by our nature, as Varad Gopal Prabhu said that, you know, we have to learn controlling speaking, and, you know, we just give an opportunity, we speak, we give instruction and advice. Even if we have come out of the temple president position, we still sometimes behave the way, you know, and give advice and instruction. So that is our, but still, you see, this is how in our society, that is the beauty of our society, that the way the structure has been made is that he would consult everyone. Even if you look at the GBC, you know, this is how Prabhupada wanted, and that is how our seniors, that as per the instruction of Guru Maharaj and then Sumadur Prabhu brought in this structure, where then we diluted the power of president so that he doesn't, although everyone gives him that respect, but however we have put that for even to president to take a decision, he need to have 2 more devotees. And that's why we bring in those ex-temple president to be the advisors, and other 2 vice presidents, so that we also have a succession also, the future. So if you see that here we are practicing that. We are practicing. He consults and then he...
Yeah, that I understand, Prabhu. I'm talking in light of the general society where the Brahmanas are not respected and the Kshatriyas, they take whimsically all the, you know, so what's happening you can see around the world. So the situation becomes totally uncontrollable. So in the absence of those Brahma Tejas power to the Brahmanas, so how this situation can change?
So see, what we have, our society here, we have to spread it so that whole world becomes like our society.
Yeah, very well. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, that's my understanding. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Please bless me so that I have strong faith in Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Nothing else. You don't need anything else. Chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra with full sincerity.
Hare Krishna. It was a very nice purport and then nicely explained by Prabhuji. There's a few points that we are not the fault finders. We are love finders. Very well. And Guru's instruction always comes with empowerment. So Guru's instruction comes always with empowerment. And who is the actual doer? Actual doer is the Krishna is the actual doer. And we have seen that how the neglect by the Guru, and what is the difference between the neglect by the father. So neglect by the Guru, even though it's neglect, outwardly it looks like neglect by the Guru, but it was a blessings in disguise. Harivam. And then the Brahmana, how the Brahmana should be soft-hearted and he should be sense-controlled also. And of course, the mantras are available still, but the chanters of the mantras are not available. And we should have the strong faith in Guru and chanting. Hare Krishna. And by following the ISKCON,